you doing, folks? In this video we're going to be doing dry brushing, as you can see in the description. I'm going to do this one first because it seems to be the easier way of highlighting your models, as opposed to Citadel's preferred way of teaching people how to edge highlight. It can be seen, dry brushing, as a bit of a newbie thing to do. It's good for beginners. There are more complicated techniques to use or things to do using dry brushing, so it's a skill worth learning. You know, you can do blends and all sorts with dry brushing that, you know, would take a long time trying to wet blend, which is something way down the line, because even I can't do that yet. So we're going to do the airbrush guy, the one that was primed with the airbrush and base coated with the airbrush, washed with my expensive brush. So now I'm going to dry brush him. Okay, I like dry brushing. It's nice and quick and simple. So we'll have a look down here, and we'll get the dry brushing done. All right, come on. All right. So you got the model, obviously. It's washed, based, washed, and ready for highlighting. So I need a dry brush, which is one of these kind of flat ones. We're going to use Kronos Blue, which is a dry paint, and we also need some kitchen roll or blue roll or whatever to wipe the paint off the brush. So as we look inside this pot, you can see it's quite a very thick, very thick paint, hence the word dry. There's not much water in it, and you can see it's kind of gelatinous. So you want to grab some on the brush, and then we wipe it off. Work that into the bristles. You know, good circular motion helps, but really get that in there until you've got, you know, not much left. If there's a big lump there, to wipe that off as well. And you're looking at something like that. And so we're going to grab the model, and what we need to do is imagine this model is a piece of wood, and you want to go against the grain. So basically you're flicking the brush against the sharp edges of the model. Don't forget the helmet, and just go against the grain and just grab at those edges so that you can, you know, you're basically depositing the pigment right on the corners. And as you can see, we just go around, try and keep away from the flat edges or the flat surfaces, in terms of trying not to drag the brush along the flat surfaces. It's impossible not to do it on everything, but you can give yourself a good shot at getting a decent finish if you try and avoid them. And yeah, so we just go along and just grab all of those edges, and you can see it highlighting now, can't you? It's looking quite nice. You get that light blue along the edge. You're forcing the perspective of light getting caught onto him. You know, that's what painting these miniatures are all about. You know, when you're painting them, you're just you're forcing the perspective of something that's 28mm tall or so. Well, a little bit more than that for these Primaris Marines, but you're just trying to get the effect of, you know, this thing's huge. So we'll speed it up in just a second, and I'll do the rest. And when the paint runs out of the brush, of course, you know, grab some more. You just make sure the brush is empty before you start adding more paint to it. Otherwise, you know, you're just going to get big globs of it. So we'll speed this up and finish him off. See, he's looking quite smart. You know, this thing's supposed to be 7 feet tall, so, you know, forcing that perspective of a lot of light catching on the edges of those armors, you know, is really going to help bring your model alive on the tabletop. Alright, so that's highlighting. Let's finish this one off. So there we go. I mean, that's dry brushing in a nutshell, and I mean, he's decent enough, isn't he? I mean, he's not even focused. There we go. I mean, yeah, it's good enough. I like this technique. It's nice and simple. It's you could take this up another notch and do an even lighter blue if you wanted to. If you wanted to go out there. Now I know that Kronos Blue is not one of those paints that you've got if you're collecting the Conquest magazine. Certainly not at the time of this recording. Will you get one? I have no idea. I don't know how they're going to tell you to paint. So yeah, this is where I'm going to start going into how to paint your models, but you're going to either have to decide to either wait or, you know, go out and buy the paint, or wait to see if you get it. I don't know how you want to do it. I'm just showing you these techniques and we can go from there. These videos will stick around for long after the Conquest magazine have been out, so you know, hopefully, you know, you'll find use for them in the future anyway. So that's that. Yeah, so dry brushing, I mean, it's just that simple. He's now highlighted, and I think I'm gonna, with this guy now, I'm gonna use dry brushing as much as possible. And there'll be a few details to add to him as we go further and further along. So I think this might actually be the last standalone tutorial using this guy. And I say that because I think the next, what I'll do with this guy now is I'll now move along and record me painting this guy with various different techniques. Not various different techniques, is it? It's going to be, I'm going to try and dry brush him as much as possible, but I'm going to kind of do the rest of the model. So what I might do is I might break it up into colours. That's what I'm going to do. I'm working it out as I go along. So the next step on this guy is to pick out all the silver. So what I'll do is I'll do a video, and it'll probably be called How to Paint Silver with Dry Brushing or something like that. Okay, so keep an eye out for those in the future. And then after I've done the silver, it'll probably be how to paint black using dry brushing, and it'll be this model, and we'll just get along, and I'll do black, I'll do silver, there'll be some gold, and yeah, there's not really a lot left to do on there, and then we'll base him somehow as well, but we'll do the base. So keep your eyes out for the models. I think this will probably be the last standalone tutorial about a technique, and we might now move on to how to paint different colours. Alright, if you like that idea, feel free, let me know that it's a good idea, or if you've got a different idea about how I can proceed with this guy, feel free to let me know. And the reason why I say this guy is that there still will be a technique with this guy, which is the first one that I built, where I will be highlighting him using edge highlighting. Okay, and I've already started with the video on this one, and I tell you now, I could not get on edge highlighting with this starter brush. Alright, so I tried, I even tried a slightly cheaper brush that I've got, and I couldn't do it. I had to do my Series 7 brushes, but there'll be more information in that video when it comes out about how you can do it with a cheaper brush rather than having to go and buy an expensive one. Keep your eyes out for that one. Keep your eyes out for more of these. Feel free to throw in your suggestions below, and that just leaves me to say, well, thank you for watching this one. Feel free to like it and let me know whether you liked it or not. If you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to press the bell button next to it should you not want to miss any of my episodes. Okay, and there's also all of my social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook are down there. If you want to help support the channel, my Patreon's down there as well, but feel free to peruse those at your leisure. Thank you for watching this one, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-ra.